Have your attention, please. The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Gather round, it's story time. Comics Dad's got the latest on the line. From panels to pixels, we'll explore the world of comics and so much more. Welcome to Talkin Shop, where we never stop discussing heroes, villains, every plot twist we've got. From ink to screen and all in between. With Comics Dad and friends, it's the scene. We'll dive into pop culture, what's hot, what's not. Entertainment, buzz, the latest plot. Content creation, how we make it pop. Sit back, relax, let's talk shop. Welcome to Talkin Shop, where we never stop discussing heroes, villains, every plot twist we've got. From ink to screen and all in between. With Comics Dad and friends, it's the scene. Whether it's manga, movies, or memes, we've got the insights, the laughs, and the schemes. So join the chat, let's elevate the conversation, don't hesitate. From classics to new, from indie to mainstream, we'll cover it all like a superhero's dream. Maybe we'll stray talk of other things, but comic love is what gives us wings. Welcome to Talkin Shop, where we never stop discussing heroes, villains, every plot twist we've got. From ink to screen and all in between. With Comics Dad and friends, it's the scene.
Hey everybody, Comics Dad here for another episode of Talkin Shop. We have a very, very special episode tonight with a very special guest. But before we get into all that, we're going to do like we normally do. I'm going to say, hey everybody, I hope you're all doing well. We're going to check out the chat real quick. We got 13 people watching already between YouTube and Rumble, so I appreciate that. So first and foremost, if anybody's new here to the channel, as the stream goes on, you don't got to do it now, but as the stream goes on, if you enjoy the show, and if you enjoy what I'm doing here with my guest and just on the channel as a whole, please be sure to hit the like button, and then either subscribe if you're on YouTube, or hit that follow if you're over on Rumble. Also, on the YouTube side, I am not monetized. I'm still a fairly new channel. And I don't just like asking people for money, so that's not what I do. But I do have donation links strictly because people in the past have said, hey, Comics Dad, we love what you're doing. How can we support you in some way? And I said, you could just be here. They're like, no, we want to do more. So there's some donation links in the description of the streams. If anybody is feeling generous enough, it's never asked, it's never expected. But if anybody does, it is highly appreciated. Normally I get the notifications on my phone, but I am using my phone as a second camera for something at the beginning of the show tonight. So if anybody donates, I won't see it right away, but I promise I will see it at some point. So now with all that said, let's get into the chat and say hello to everybody. Scrolling right up to the top, Jen Silvsaska in the chat. First one there says, let's fucking go. Hail the Twisted Sisters, the Twisted Twins. Risk It for a Biscuit says, yo, Carrow's here, let's go. Ask her when we're going to get more Dirty Deeds. I wanted it like yesterday or the day before. Trust me, Risk It, there's going to be some talk about Dirty Deeds. Don't worry, man. Shauna Pippin's in the chat, says, hail the lovely Jen and Silvsaska and Risk It. How are you, Shauna? Good to see you, lady. Arafate, our buddy Arafate is here, says, hello, fellow humans. Hello, Arafate. Looks like you won't be able to watch. You're driving home 10 hours. Be safe out there on the road. John Ambler, mod extraordinaire for the Comics Dad channel, says, hail chat, about to eat dinner before the stream. Well, this was a while ago. What, half an hour ago? Hopefully you ate by now, man. Who else we got here? We have Igor Teixeira here, says, hello, everyone. Wow, it feels like we've got a bit of a Rippaverse party in the chat going on. So I wonder if we'll get anybody else stopping by. Eric, if you're watching, say hi. Just kidding. Just scrolling on through. Patty Quinn over on Rumble is here, gives a wave. Patty Quinn, how are you, brother? Good to see you, man. And of course, Her Royal Highness Queen Comics wife, my lovely wife, Queen Comics wife, is here and says, "Hey guys," so she says, "Not going to be on, not going to be on much. Had a rough day at work, and it was overwhelming." Yeah, Queen Comics wife, she works really, really hard. I appreciate everything she does, and she has to talk to people all day. I don't like doing that when I had to do it. So I feel you, Queen Comics wife. Hang out with the older one, play games. You're good. Take the night off, dear. I love you. Everybody, by the way, John, if you can grab the links real quick, check out Queen Comics Wife. Her channel's both on YouTube and on Rumble. She's Queen Comics Wife. She does live streams a few times a week. She just talks with you guys, the chat, and just kind of talks about the goings on of her day and of life, and just interacts with you guys. Just really, really intimate kind of thing she has going on there, and I love that she's doing it. And I love her for it. I love it. I know her chat loves it. Queen Comics wife, keep it up. You're doing a great job. I love you, dear. Let's scroll up. Joe's Atmosphere is here. Says, "What up, Comics Daddy O?" What's going on, Joe? How are you, buddy? Sir Book Sage is here. Says, "Hello, hello, Sir Book Sage. Welcome to the channel." Queen Comics says, "Can I come take a shower, please?" Yes. All right, so the reason why she asks that is because my setup is here back in our bedroom. So yes, Queen Comics wife, come on back, go take your shower. You're good. Just turn the fan on, and if you could just close the door, just so the shower, because the shower is literally like 10 feet away from my desk. So if you could just close the door, that's all I ask, Queen Comics wife. But you don't need to ask to take a shower. Come on, it's your house too, your castle. The Faithful Geek is in the chat. Says, "Hello, hello, Faithful Geek. How are you?" So we've gone through our chat. We've said hello to everybody. I'm long-winded, so we lost a couple of people in the process, but that's fine. It was only on the Rumble side. Looking to grow there, but that'll come in time. YouTube people, this is what you've been waiting for. I have a very, very special guest with me today. You know her from the Rippaverse. You know her from her own work. You know her as the creator, the writer of the acclaimed hit from Ripazine number 3, The Dirty Deeds. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me in welcoming the one and only Carrow Brown.
Get on with it. Yes, get on with it.
Get on with it! Hey, Carrow, how are you? First and foremost, thank you so much for joining me tonight, especially on, 2 days' notice?
Oh, thank you for having me, and thank you for that introduction. I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna follow that up. Oh my goodness.
I talk a big game for myself, and I don't live up to it, but my guests always do. So we're good. Don't worry about it. You're gonna be
Okay.
fine.
Okay.
But first and foremost, how are you today?
I'm doing pretty good. It's been a very busy week here, but the team's been tackling everything one thing at a time, and we're making it to Friday. So good job, guys. Good job.
I hear you. Yeah, and we'll get into some of that too. And aside from writing for Rippaverse, you also do a lot of work on their customer service side as well. So, we'll definitely be getting into all of that. But just gonna, there we go. Risk it, Jen,
Hello.
John Ambler,
Hello.
everybody saying hi.
Hello, everyone.
Hashtag more dirty deeds. But so, as for anybody that's unfamiliar with my show, my channel here, and Carrie, you and I talked about this briefly. The way I like to start this show is because it's talking shop. So obviously, Comics Dad, first thing you think of is comic shop. We talk other stuff too, but I start the show by talking shop, meaning comics specifically. So, Carrow, you are my guest. Did you bring anything for show and tell today? Maybe out of a collection that you have, or just something you got sitting on your shelf?
I
Got a
mean,
couple of things.
I have a whole bunch of stuff back here. Give me, let's see. Man.
No, you're good, especially with some of my guests that with their collections. They've told me they're like, man, you made it a really tough choice. I did like if I could only pick like 2 or 3, that's tough.
Well, I guess I'll start with the one thing that nobody else has right now at the moment. Yeah, which is I have the ISOM 3 in my possession right now.
Ooh,
You want to see that bad boy? Oh, it's so pretty.
there it is. Look
Yeah,
at that. So
yeah,
glossy, so shiny.
yeah. Don't be too jealous. I took it from the damage bin. So
Hey, it's a collectible.
yeah, but I want you guys to know that even though it's damaged, right? Like it's really good condition because like I had to have like one of the warehouse people like show me where it was like scuffed at, and I was like, that's fine. That's okay with me.
There you go.
Yeah.
I-
Oh,
that's how I'd go about it too. There was a place I worked at a warehouse. It was a fine linens company, and that's how I'd get sometimes free like bed sheets and blankets and stuff because people would return them with like just tiny little scuffs and nicks and tears on them. Like I'll take it. That's fine.
mhm.
But hey, anyway you could get something, go for it.
Yeah, and I usually bring it here because I reference it whenever we're talking about stories and stuff. And then when I get to talk to delightful people like you, I'll be like, "Look at this thing that I have! Ooh, ah,
So shiny.
yeah." And then I have the Zalen one as well. So that's my other show and tell.
Very nice.
Yeah, yeah. This was such a good story. I was so happy with it.
See, unfortunately, I did flip through, but I unfortunately, because I just got it in the mail, I think Tuesday evening. So I have not had the chance to flip through it just yet. But what I've been seeing is everybody is absolutely raging about it. Just excuse me, just a little bit that I flipped because I read like the first couple of pages and then just flipped through to get an idea just how it looked and everything. It looks awesome. I can't wait to actually sit down and dedicate a good hour or so to just sitting and reading the whole thing. Chuck
It's so
Dixon,
good.
Joe Bennett.
Oh yeah, like and when you get to like if you guys have a copy of it still, like go check out like that spaceship because like when Chuck told Joe to like draw the spaceship, he was kind of like, I'm thinking something like this. And like Joe drew like this super intricate thing and there was like a moment where like, do you want to do that? Because you have to draw it like that every time. He's like, this is fine.
And that's a big thing that I think we're missing in like mainstream comics is the people being commissioned and the people doing the work. I don't know if they're all having fun anymore. And that's
Mm,
what seems like you and Chuck and Joe and everybody else over at Rippaverse and a lot of people in the independent space too are just they're just having fun.
mm-hmm.
Like Marvel, DC, I don't hear a lot about them people over there having fun. Instead, I see stuff online about how Marvel doesn't want to pay their artists and their writers necessarily what they're worth for the amount of work they're doing. Now, granted, I don't know if they're even worth it sometimes, depending upon the book or the individuals we're talking about, but I understand the point. So,
Mm-hmm.
and from that perspective, I can understand why maybe we're getting the low quality we're getting out of the big two, because they're not having fun for reasons. But that's great that Chuck, Joe had fun. Let's get. I'm sorry. Uh, I also make sure that I also have at least one show and tell myself.
Okay.
So,
Show me your treasures.
yeah, I was kind of torn. I had a couple here. We'll go with this one because it is May. We're coming into the end of May, and what do you think when? What do people normally think when it comes to this time of year? Graduation,
Mm.
college graduation, high school graduation. So I got to pull up my handy dandy little camera app on my phone that I helped to use me stream that I started using. So we're gonna switch on over to this screen real quick.
Oh, that's fancy.
Yeah, not too fancy. But Hail Tomby, everybody check out the real Tomby on YouTube and Rumble. He lets me know about all this awesome stuff and technology. The Amazing Spider-Man
Oh,
125, Peter Parker's college graduation from Empire State University.
yeah.
So
That is a treasure. Holy shit.
it's not like the rarest of books to find, but this one in particular is actually in really good condition. And me personally, I think I got it on a steal. For anybody that doesn't know, Spider-Man, Peter Parker, my favorite
Hmm.
comic book characters of all time. So most of my collection right now is just Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But it's a great read. It's still when Amazing Spider-Man sometimes still had two stories. So the first story in it, Spider-Man goes up against the White Dragon,
Hmm.
and that is just typical Spider-Man defeats the bad guy. Some other stuff going on in there because White Dragon, some stuff about his origins from being from another country, coming over to America, stuff like that.
Hmm.
But specifically, the graduation story, it's a fun story because Peter's out there doing Spider-Man stuff, and it's graduation day, so he has to rush over to college, get in line, sneak into being in his street clothes, and then he gets in line for his cap and gown. And they go, "Oh, well, that's funny. We don't have your name here for a cap and gown, but we've got a second one for you. So they give him another one. Okay, cool. He gets over to the seating arrangements for the graduation. Doesn't see an assigned seat to him, but they make it work. It comes to the dean giving everybody their diplomas. They don't call his name. He doesn't get up on stage to get his diploma. Turns out, after the fact, he approached the dean and asked him after graduation was over. Turns out that because of all of his Spider-Man running around and everything, he apparently had a gym class in college somehow. I guess college was a mandatory class, or gym was a mandatory class in college back then, I guess.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it still is technically.
Fair.
Yeah.
but because of his Spider-Man responsibilities, he actually ended up flunking his gym courses in college, so he couldn't graduate with everybody else. So
the one class he would have been fantastic in is the one that he flunked. Yeah.
Exactly.
The irony.
And that's the irony of it all. So that's just really fun. That's why I like this one. It's just it's a fun story. It's just, come on, Peter. Come on, Spidey. But and then I just got one more real quick. Amazing Spider-Man 86. This is when we get the first time we see Black Widow in meeting Spider-Man. So it is the debut of Black Widow's iconic standard like black leotard outfit. Yeah. She didn't have that before this issue of Amazing Spider-Man. She was
I know some fans of Black Widow.
Yeah, she was in like some blue and black getup that matched early Hawkeye when she was hanging out with the Avengers the first time and everything. What's up, Queen Comics Life?
See a lotion right here. I can't see the lotion.
I'm sorry?
I can't see the lotion. Do you see a small thing of lotion?
Yes. There you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Queen Comics Life didn't have her glasses on. She needed something. I had to be her eyes. But that is my show and tell. So we can get off this now. And back to here. But yeah, so thank you so much, Carrow, for showing us, especially the ISOM 3. Got a sneak peek up close and personal of that.
You got to see the cover.
I know.
It's on the website.
Hey, but we got to see the cover in person-ish. So I'll take it. Another Comics Dad first. We've had some firsts on the show over the last few guests. And an indie comic creator. He goes by his company name Dreams Uncharted, and he showed us some firsts of some designs and stuff that he's got working on for future projects too. So hey, cool. You know what? Two shows in a row we get Comics Dad exclusives. I'm about it. Let's go. But Carrow, so now thank you for the show and tell. Now let's get into kind of what you're doing. You're involved in Rippaverse. You wrote Dirty Deeds. You're involved in the team there at Rippaverse and operations, but you also have your own stuff that you do as well. I guess let's start with the Rippaverse stuff. First and foremost, how did it come about that you just ended up joining Eric and the team there in doing the regular day-to-day operations?
Oh man, that's a story. Okay.
Well, if it's too much to ask, or if you think it's too long of a story, you can also give us the TLDR, however you want to go about it.
No, I'll try to tell it with some entertainment in it. So you mentioned Spider-Man as one of your favorite characters, right?
Yes.
So ironically, I found Eric through Spider-Man because he and I have a common belief that there's too many Spider-Men. And so what happened was when I was a teacher, I got into an argument with another teacher about, and my stance on it was that writers were using the trope of Spider-Man in order to sell like what I consider to be like creatively bankrupt characters, right? But because they put on a Spider-Man costume and did Spider-Man things, it was okay. And it wasn't a heated argument, but I definitely got ganged up on, and it left me feeling a certain kind of way. And so I remember like going home and being like, I can't be insane. Like is it me? And so like any other person, I was like, well, let me check, because if I am wrong, I want to know, right? And so I typed in too many Spider-Man. The first thing that popped up was Eric's video about how there were too many Spider-Man. I was like, that guy right there, that guy.
There you go.
Yeah, and so
I can 100% relate to that. Now, the Spider-Verse was a cool concept initially. It's gone too far at this point.
Yeah, I mean, like the reboots and the what ifs, on occasion, like that's kind of fun. But then when it just kept expanding into like, I want to say nonsense, it just got too much. But I found his channel and I subscribed to it because he had a lot of videos that talked about like comic theory and lore and things like that. And I actually found it to be like really impressive. especially since it was like outside of like a comic shop and it wasn't somebody going like, oh, well, actually. So, and a little while later, he did a live stream. I did a dono. He winked at me, and I was like, okay, I can be a fan. That's fine. And then I ended up resigning from teaching because a little while after that, teacher strikes happened. I was a participant. I didn't like the environment afterwards, and so I just resigned. And I went back to college to get my master's in psychology. So, like any other remote college student at that time, I was working on my papers and watching Eric, do his like lunchtime stream show at the time. And so I was a constant, revisiting person. I became a mod. And I was also trying to make like my own brand online because I had I was in the process of publishing a book, and per my publishing agreement, they said you have to have some kind of online presence, and YouTube at the time was easier for me, so that's what I did.
Oh,
and
okay.
And so Eric found my channel. He's like, you seem to be very organized. And I was like, I try. And he was kind of like, I could use some of that. And I was like, I'm happy to assist. And so I became his like remote assistant. So I was going through his email, letting him know when there were high profile stuff coming in. And I remember when he did the stream where he like announced that he was going to make his own comic. I'll never forget because when Eric like does announcements and stuff like that, he does this thing where he kind of like sits up in his chair a little bit and like puffs out his chest. And so like when I saw him do that, I was like, oh, this is gonna be huge, right? And so he's like, I'm gonna make my own comic. And I was like, oh wow, right. And so I watched the emails for that come back and forth, and the scripts and stuff like that. It was really amazing to watch. And then, I was working part-time for him after I graduated still, because I wasn't going to just like take off.
Mm-hmm.
But I was working a main gig over at a game studio, and, on July 10th, he messaged me. He's like, can you be available tomorrow? Because I'm going to launch my comic. And I was like, yeah, sure, I can do that. And so I told my boss. My boss actually knew who Eric was because it's a game studio, right? And so people in entertainment kind of know like who talks about what. And so on July 11th, when he launched the comic, I was like, my boss like reached out to me like at lunchtime. He's like, how's it going? I sent him the website, and he was like, oh, so I'll see you next week. And I was like, yeah, I'll be there next week, because it was just so crazy when we launched.
Oh, like I can imagine.
Yeah, it was.
And I'm late to the whole Rippaverse party and everything. I wasn't made aware until, because I didn't really watch anything on like YouTube or anything like that. I was barely even on X or anything up until probably October of this past year, maybe a little bit before. So I had absolutely no idea about Rippaverse or Eric or any of this. But once I found out, like my jaw hit the floor, because like, oh, this is so cool. And that was Rippaverse was kind of like my gateway into the indie comic scene too. So, but it's, I can imagine, of course, your boss at the time probably being like, "Oh, awesome! I know who Eric July is. I did not." So,
well, entertainment is interesting because it was one of those things that when I was working there, and my boss knew that I was working for Eric, like on the side, he was like, "Don't tell anybody else." Right.
Yeah.
Because it's very tribal in entertainment. And so, and like, even my boss said, like, if I'm caught like doing a stream with Eric, like my career is done. Like it's like that. Right.
Really?
Yeah. It's intense. And even when, and so when I started publicly being known as being associated with Eric, like some of the gigs that I had that were going on the side, like they disappeared. They were just like, oh, we're going to go with somebody else. I'm like, yeah, I'm sure you are. Yeah. Thanks, man.
That's, and this was before Eric started getting like a lot of the hate, I assume, right?
Well,
it's only grown from the crowd, the familiar crowd that everybody knows I'm referring to. So
I wish that was the case. We were actually met with animosity, like pretty much like when we launched. It was from a different source. And
okay.
Yeah, and the commentary was different because and I'm gonna switch gears and actually talk about Brandon Sanderson for a minute.
Yeah, go ahead.
And the reason I'm going to talk about Brandon Sanderson is because when he did his crowdfund Kickstarter for his 4-book series, he raised like, what was it, like $42 million, right? Like it was, chump change, right?
Yeah, I just got that right here. Hold on.
Yeah, but he raised that much money, and I was in the author community at the time, and I was like, oh wow, that's huge. And I actually found it to be really inspirational because the fact that he was able, like, he's financing the whole publication of the series, right? and I thought it was great because he was showing that when readers want something, they will come and they will pay for it, right? But in the author community, there was a very different narrative going around where they were like, well, no, he shouldn't be doing that because he has enough money, right? And I was like, that's not the point.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
nonsense.
Yeah, but it was just, but that was the stance, and it comes from like a place of jealousy and envy, right? Like, and I can't
Sure.
remember the name of the person, but like somebody got in their feelings because I guess they used to be like the top Black comic creator, and then Eric made more money than they did, and they took it personal. I don't remember who it was, but that was one of the things that we heard in like week 1, and we were all like, why can't we just stand and celebrate together? Why does it have to be a you versus me thing? Like, this should be like, we're both indie creators, we're both making waves, let's team up, show the industry that, you know, people want our product, right?
Yeah, I with just from hearing that and knowing nothing about the actual situation at the time it happened, it sounds like it's one of those things where like certain people say, oh, tokenism is bad, but then sometimes those people that say that then turn around and want to be the token person to be the representative in the face of something that they've accomplished.
Yeah, you can only be token when it's okay with me. Yeah, it's that kind of thing. Yeah.
Jeez, that's awful.
But yeah, so that's how I met Eric. That's how I became employed by Eric. Because once he hit like 3 million, he was like, "I need you to be full time," and so I put in my 30-day notice, and I've been with him since then. Yeah.
I can imagine just the amount of work it would have been if you were still doing both.
You know, I tried to do both for that 30 days, and like by the time like my last day came, I was like, I am so happy it's done.
Well, that's I appreciate you sharing that with me. So that's really cool. You like from go, you have been there basically pretty much right by his side, at least virtually.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. And I'm sure he is forever grateful for you for that too. But let's hop over to, I have a little cheat sheet here on my screen. But yeah, so we'll transition from you and your early beginnings with the Rippaverse and being part of basically running his customer service team until Carolyn got brought on to help you out with that. And then hail, shout out to Carolyn.
Yeah.
And so how did kind of come to fruition that you ended up writing Dirty Deeds?
You know, that was like almost, I think we were like a year and a half into it. I actually have to give a head nod to the Soska sisters because I was kind of like, can you help me pitch this idea? And they were like, we're going to help you. And I was like, thank you. But because, you know, we don't do pitch meetings very often, but when we do, you know, we try to, you know, bring like the best of the best to the meetings. And so like the Soskas were very kind and like left the door open for me to pitch my idea. So it's like always deeply appreciated there.
Hail the Soskas.
Yeah, but one of the things when I was talking to Eric was when I was doing the pitch, I was like, look, I'm going to be real with you because I either do it with you or I do it without you, but I'm doing this story. And he was like, well, if that's the case, you might as well just do it with me. So
fair enough. So then kind of what was your, how did Dirty Deeds and the crew and everything just because I see certain inspirations when I read it, but I want to hear from the horse's mouth. Kind of, where did you draw inspiration from that? Kind of, how did the idea come to?
So the whole concept of Dirty Deeds is actually a tribute to my dad, and this is we call it Carrow story time at Rippaverse. So I usually preface that, and everybody just gets comfortable because they know I'm going to talk for a while.
That's part of what this show is all about. Have at it. Go for it.
But so I come from a Jerry Springer family, which means it's very dramatic, all kinds of crazy stuff that can only happen on Jerry Springer, right?
For sure.
And so the too long didn't read on that is that for a very long time, I didn't live with my dad. I was in the hands of a poor parent up until that point. But, you know, through my dad's actions and his side of the family, they were able to acquire me from that situation. That's me being about as technical with that as I can be. But
fair enough.
But I was a preteen, and, you know, my dad and I were trying to figure out how to talk to each other because, like, at that point we had been separated for too long. We were trying to find common ground. And so it actually started on a Saturday morning when I came downstairs and he had Batman Beyond on the TV. And I actually really like Batman, right? Good. Yeah, so Batman Beyond was on. So I came and sat down. We started watching Batman Beyond. And then my dad was like, what else do you watch? And I was like, what else do you got? Right. And so we started watching a whole bunch of sci-fi. Like, we did all of it. Like, we did Star Trek, Star Wars, you know, Galactica, Farscape, like all of it, right? And I've always really appreciated those shows, because those shows, even though they might seem kind of like surface level for some people, are actually really good discussion grounds for parents to have like meaningful discussions with kids
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that. So like, especially Star Trek Next Generation, they had all kinds of like social situations where I was kind of like, was that actually possible? And he was like, well, it could be. And then we would have like these talks. And so through watching sci-fi and all of that, we were able to kind of like reconnect and bond that way. And
Oh,
so,
that's cool.
yeah.
And that's great that you had that bond with your father. I know not all parents, especially parents of children of our generation and
Mhm.
and that time area, um, didn't necessarily always get it.
Mhm.
So like if you weren't born into a family where at least one of the parents was kind of a nerd at the time,
Mhm.
you kind of didn't really get that bond and connection. Unfortunately, I am one of the products that did not get born into that kind of family. Don't get me wrong,
Mhm.
love my father, reconnected with him recently, but I didn't have that. I didn't really have that because I was more into the nerdy stuff, and my brother was more of a hands-on, kind of like my father and everything. So
Mhm.
like outside of the surface level relationship that I had with him of just father son trying to find things to bond over. And we had our couple of TV shows and whatnot, but like the stuff that really mattered to me, he just didn't really understand. So
Mhm.
unfortunately, I didn't really have that strong connection with him on that deeper level, kind of like you had with your father. So kudos to your dad and kudos to you. And that's awesome that you guys were able to kind of have that bond and have that relationship.
Yeah, I'm pretty thankful. One of the things I usually run into when I have like these discussions is I find that there's not a lot of father appreciation. And I don't know if that's like socially engineered or if it's just some kind of like inherent structure where we just assume that the father figures are going to take care of everything, right?
Hmm.
But I find like in a society where we're having not the nuclear family unit, like the father appreciation has definitely been like dwindling down to nothing.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, I'm kind of an advocate for it. I'm kind of like, should make dads great again,
There
like,
we go. Hey,
yeah.
you chose the right channel to come on
Yeah.
then.
So.
But I will say that since we are talking to since you did mention nuclear family and kind of how that is kind of been being attacked over these last 8-10 years. That is
Mhm.
why I am so part one of the many reasons why I'm so grateful for Queen Comics Wife and for the Comics Kids. They make sure every single day that they know that I am loved and I am appreciated, and even when times are rough, like we're going through some stuff right now. I'm not going to get into details with
Mhm.
everything, but it's definitely having me question like, well, am I doing enough? Am I being good enough husband? Am I being good enough dad? Am I being all that stuff? And they're just through it all every single day. My little one, she's 5. She comes up, "You're the best dad." Oh,
Aw.
thank you, kiddo. You're the best. My wife comes up to me, "Hey, I love you. We're gonna get through it. You just keep doing what you're doing. We've got this." And if anybody watching has faith or not, it may get a little mushy. 'Cause if you don't have faith, that's fine too. Everybody has their own ways of like trying to of finding peace with things. Just with between me and my wife, she tells us, "Hey, have faith. Remember what's important, and we'll get through it." And then my older one comes home from school, and she goes, "Hey, Dad, you're awesome." I'm like, "Oh, cool. Thanks, kiddo." That a word, awesome, is what I love hearing. So,
Mhm.
but
That's
yeah,
blessed.
so that's and it's good to hear like what you're saying with the relationship with your father and everything because like you said, it's the appreciation for fathers. Yeah, you put it perfectly. The appreciation for fathers has been dwindling, and
Mhm.
I love the fact that you had that connection to your dad and you're able to bring that into your work that you did on Dirty Deeds, and that heavily inspired it. And honestly, hopefully, you have some stuff for if we get more Dirty Deeds in the future, which fingers crossed we do. That maybe, hopefully, you bring even some of those nuclear values that you had, and some of the inspiration of that time with your father. Hopefully, we get to see some of that more being inspired in future Dirty Deeds stories.
I mean, if I get a green light for it, I know Andrew went off to go see his meeting, so I can say whatever I want. But no, if I get to do more of it, I really want to focus on the found family element that's in there because we're always, I don't want to say we're always because there's antisocial people, but we're always looking for like a grouping of people, like a support network of some sort. right?
Sorry, Patty Quinn, comics that is not awesome. I get it, Patty Quinn.
Aw.
Patty Quinn's a joker. He likes just basically saying the opposite of anything I say. But he's a
Aw.
good dude. Hey, sorry, you were saying.
That's good ribbing though.
It is.
But yeah, no, so it's so it's and it's that's kind of a nod to like so for Star Trek, for example. And I'm gonna actually let me digress back to an earlier part of your question that you asked before I went on Carrow story time.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
The answer to your question about like things that were inspired by a lot of that is inspired by sci-fi elements that my father and I both really enjoyed. And one is a particular that my husband really enjoys. So this is me kind of like honoring that, but I'm not trying to like mimic or copy those things. I'm trying to like kind of tell it through like the lens that I would like to tell it.
Oh, for sure.
So yeah, because like we live in an age where it's like if I say like, oh, I'm thinking like this and that, it's like, oh well, here's 10 movies that did that. It's like, okay, well, I didn't write the movie, right?
It's like that episode of South Park from early on where what is it? I think Stan Marsh was trying to come up with an idea for getting out of a situation or whatever, or no, it was Butters. Butters was trying to come up with ideas for being Professor Chaos, and his little like younger ginger haired minion partner kept going, Simpsons did it, Simpsons did it, Simpsons did it.
Yeah,
that's kind of how the day and age that we live in now, where there's always somebody going, Simpsons did it, and it's just annoying.
I mean, it's only been around for 36 years. I'm sure Simpsons have done everything.
Well, and it's the same thing. Like, I mean, I am a firm believer of like 99% of the time, an idea that somebody has, somebody else has come up with, if not the exact same idea, a similar idea. But the difference is how you go about executing the idea. And if you're not doing a carbon copy one for one, which is not what you and the team did with Dirty Deeds, like yes, you're going to see some similarities. You're going to see some things that for some people may see as ripping off another IP, but from your perspective, it's just you drew inspiration from it because it's something that mattered to you. Like for me, what and now that you went through the line of all the different sci-fi stuff that you and your dad watch, I can definitely see like some Battlestar in there, definitely. And because granted, we only got 16 pages, but I can definitely see some Battlestar inspiration in there. What I personally thought of when I read through it was I thought of a mix between Firefly and Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, big inspiration. Yeah, my dad and I really like both of those. Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
And so how did you come up with some of these characters? I am really curious about, especially I think everybody wants to know more about what I assume is everybody's fan favorite, Spingy. Am I saying that
everyone
right?
loves Spingy. So I don't create characters the way some folks do, where they're kind of like, oh, I want to make a character like this. I'm like, who's my intended reader for this character? Right. So like, for example, so Felsier and Spingy actually have the same intended reader. And it's women who like hot guys and cute, creepy shit. Right.
I never would have made the connection for the two of them.
Yeah, but and that's because I hang out with like a group of women, and what's the one thing that they usually like to talk about? They like to talk about hot guys and cute, creepy shit, right? And so I was like, I could get 2 birds, 1 stone, make 2 characters, make one intended reader happy. We're good, right? So that was, and even when I was talking to Evan and we were like designing Felsier, I was like, listen, I want you to think about female gaze. Like this guy gotta be hot. Like I need like pectorals and like tight waist, like everything. And he was like, I got you, right?
And real quick, since you mentioned him, just a big shout out to Evan Scale and Marco Lesko, who did the art and the colors for Dirty Deeds as well. I mean, the overall concept obviously is your brainchild, but as with any comics, it all comes together between the creator, the writer, and also the people doing the art and the colors. So props to them as well for helping bring this awesome story and cast characters of yours to life.
Oh yeah, no, it was fantastic. Like it was like it was very humbling to like watch these very talented people take like my concept and be like, we will flesh it out. And I was like, there it goes, it's blooming. Wow. So that was really good. But that's kind of how I did that. Spingy when I was talking to Evan, I was like, look, this thing's gonna be a plushie one day, so we need to make it like plushie worthy. And he was like, I got you too.
For sure.
But when I was making Spingy and I wanted to make him the engineer of the ship, right? I was like, well, what makes sense to have like, as an engineer? And so I was thinking about it, and some of like the greatest construction that I've ever seen is a spider web, right?
That's very true.
Yeah, so I was like, for me, it's out in space. Makes sense that there would be arachnids out there in some shape or form. So let's just
Ugh.
make let's make an adorable spider creature, and go from there. And so once I make characters for like my intended reader, then I start going in and being kind of like, what kind of personality do you have? Are you like friendly? Are you flirty? Are you like stern? Like what are we doing here? And so that's how I make those characters. And part of the reason I do it that way is because even though I might want to design a certain kind of character, I have to also consider if it's going to sell or not, right?
Mhm.
So I don't want to make a character that's not going to be appealing to a reader or is not going to make me money. I mean, like Rinlin, that's the male gaze. I even told Evan that. I was like, I need dudes to like look at this chick and be like that right there. So
Fair enough. And it's I will say I jump on the board of Spingy is definitely I mean I enjoy the whole cast of characters and I want to know more about them all, but just from what we got in what you were able to provide for us, it's Spingy, and then also I really appreciate Felsiar as well. I
yeah, me too. I'm
really
a
cool.
fan favorite.
But Spingy, now for people who are regulars to the channel and regulars to Queen Comics Wife's channel, they know that I pretty much have arachnophobia.
Oh, I'm
And,
sorry.
and well, no, you're good. And it's ironic because Spider-Man is my favorite comic book character.
Yeah.
But what did it for me was I was already a Spider-Man fan. So really it was the David Arquette movie, Eight-Legged Freaks, is what
Mhm.
did it for me, if you remember that god-awful
yeah.
movie. But so Spingy is like, I have a love-hate relationship with Spingy because he's cute and he's adorable and he's really cool, being the engineer of like the crew and everything. But then I see him do the silk and I just think of the, I think, almost 80 something jumping spider babies that are sitting in our kitchen right now.
Oh.
Because Queen Comics Life has a pet jumping spider, and when she got it, apparently apparently the spider was already fertile, and
Oh.
she was already working on producing eggs,
Oh,
and
plot
we
twist.
yes, and we did not know that. So as much as I love Spingy, the webs, I was like, oh, okay, I got to push it out of my mind, get through, and just enjoy the story and enjoy the art.
Yeah.
But
I appreciate your sacrifice. Thank you.
oh, of course, of course. I'm able to when it's not real. I'm able to not real. Like okay, when it's animated or drawn, I can push through it. If it's
Mhm.
any kind of whether it's 3D rendering or real life, I can no, I'm good. Like the spider, like the giant spider in Return of the King.
Mm.
I could not do that scene. I watched it and I cheered happily when Sam killed it. But up till that point, I was like, nope, not doing this.
Yeah.
John Ambler, very funny. John Ambler, Don't Look Comics, that one is on your shoulder as we speak. You're welcome. Hey, that's not funny. A few years ago in an apartment that we were living in, I woke up in the middle of the night and there was actually one coming down. It was about 6 inches from my face. I jumped out of the bed faster than Usain Bolt.
Oh my goodness.
and I woke up my wife. She's like, "What is your problem?" She saw me just swatting at the air. But yeah. Anyway, back to I go off on a tangent. We're talking about your adorable spider character. But one thing that I was really interested by is, and I'm pretty sure I had to go back and read the same page a couple of times. I didn't realize that sword spoke,
Mhm.
and I need to know more about that. Now,
Oh.
granted, I don't think you're going to divulge anything, but I'm just saying I need to know more about that because I love fantasy stuff and I love sci-fi stuff as well. But a talking sword is definitely like D&D Pathfinder esque level type of stuff. And
Yeah. So when I used to play D&D, all the boys at the table would go wild if there was like a sentient sword. So I was like, we should put that in
yes,
there. So that's why, yeah, that's my intended audience for the sword.
yes, and it works, and it's just one line too. It's one little box of dialogue, and it did it for me because now I need to know more. So everybody, I got a couple of things here. Start. Risk It said, I'm looking forward to see what new hoverboard Sulia gets after Spingy ripped her to pieces for parts. Hashtag more dirty deeds.
It's true. He did use it for parts.
Yeah, yeah, and that's why I like him. That's why I do like him because he's able to think quick and on the fly and do all
Mhm.
that really cool tinkering type of stuff. I always find that really cool in characters. Jen Self says, I love Felsiar. I do too, but not in the way that you do, probably.
I like to look at him.
I do too, but for different reasons. I do because I think he's cool looking.
Okay.
Risk it for a biscuit, John Ambler. Just get out of here with those emojis. No, thank you guys. Arachnophobia is a great movie. All real spiders. Yeah, no, I'm good. Sir Brooks Age. Yes, the Singularity Sword. But so what? I don't know how much you're allowed to say or discuss, because I mean, you mentioned that you're hoping it gets greenlit. For all I know, that could be a smoke screen you're throwing at me and everybody right now. But what kind of what would you like to do? What kind of future do you see for Dirty Deeds moving forward, whether it has been greenlit or not by Eric and the team?
I'd like to kind of take it back to like the 1990s sci-fi where it was just like, people in a ship and like, where are we going this episode and what's happening. I definitely kind of want to, I keep talking about Star Trek Next Generation, but the one thing that I always enjoyed about Star Trek Next Generation is that there was always like one cast person that was leading or that was carrying the episode, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I would like to do something similar to that, where even though the whole crew is involved, like that one crew member, it gets to have like a shine moment. It's not like a solo thing where we only follow them, but you kind of get to see like, their skill set, like kind of shining through. I mean, obviously if like Arid and Suleya get like an episode, it's just going to be like, glorious violence for probably like 15 pages, and just things like that. But the other thing I want to do is, if I get to do it, I'm going to keep doing that caveat. But if I get to do it, I want to make it so that way, even if you don't read issue 1 and you pick up issue 4, if there is an issue 4, because it's not greenlit, I don't know. Okay. Even if you don't pick up the rest of them, you have everything that you need within the story for it to make sense. Because that was always like the one issue that I ran into when I was trying to pick up like a new story within some of the Marvel and the DC comics, is that if I like, it was really hard for me just to pick up like issue 19, because so much would have happened that I wouldn't understand what was going on. I think one of like I think it was Superboy 50 when they were doing like the special when he was on the island of the Beast People and stuff like that.
Okay. Yeah, I know what one you're talking about.
Yeah, and like I had no idea what was going on in this universe. I had just picked up this thing. It was, it was a hot guy with no shirt on and pointing a gun. I was like, this seems like something I would read, right? And within like the whole course of like that 4-issue special that was there, like I had everything I needed to know about what was going on with Superboy. And I'll be honest, like the previous 48 issues, I didn't care, right? Yeah. I just wanted that 4-issue special, and some more stuff happened after that, and I didn't care about that either. So.
And I think that's kind of been the problem with comics, even not necessarily from its inception, but going as far back as probably the 70s, is that because depending upon the titles, like especially longer running titles, Superman, Amazing Spider-Man, Batman, in the 70s and the 80s, like if you want to pick up anything, you have to do research, and you have to go try and track down back issues that are 25 years old if you want to know the origins about something, or and number ones, sometimes like rebooting of a series, new volumes of a series, they will sometimes be new reader friendly, but that's not always the case. Like for example, the not all new Venom, because I refuse to acknowledge that, because what they're doing is dumb. And also,
I haven't even been tracking it, so
just real quick, Mary Jane Watson is the new Venom, basically.
No, I reject your reality and supplement it with my own.
I do too. While she's also her own superhero called Jackpot, I believe.
No.
Yeah, thank you. And then I don't know if you're familiar with the last volume of Amazing Spider-Man. There's a character that everybody hates. His name is Paul. He is a soy boy man bun type of guy.
Pictures.
Yeah. So screw Paul. Just throwing that out there.
No, don't. No, that's what he wants. Don't do it.
No. In the bad way. Go to hell, Paul. But so like even then, my whole point was, before I went off on that, like Venom #1 of the volume before, all new Venom. So it was just after King in Black and all that had happened, and Eddie Brock is the new King in Black. You go read Venom #1, yeah, they give you a little summary in terms of like kind of what happened in the volume before, but like there's still so many holes that need to be filled that you
Hmm.
can't do that as a new reader. And so with the idea of like you're talking about with like episodes and like what is going on at Rippaverse, where at least with ISOM it's a 3-issue story,
Hmm.
and don't know if that's the plan for like a lot of the books moving for all the other titles moving forward or not. But I kind of like the not I like the idea of self-contained stories that overarch with like smaller storylines throughout the series.
Mm.
So like
It's it
like if
depends on the writer, and I think that's one of the strengths that Rippaverse has is that each person that we have writing for Rippaverse, they're approaching storytelling in a way
yeah.
that works for them in their writing style. I and the one reason I want to bring that up is because there's not like a unified house style that way,
Mhm.
and that means that there's a form of storytelling that can appeal to anybody. So like if you ever see me at a convention, I'll be like, well, what kind of storytelling do you like? What kind of genres? And they'll tell me, I'll be like, okay, then you're gonna like Yaira, right?
Oh yeah, for
So
sure.
yeah,
Hail Tough
so
Frogs and Hail Yaira. Yaira's a lot of fun.
yeah.
Hail the Jet itself for that. I can't wait for Yaira 3.
Hmm.
But yeah, and it's just. But you said like kind of what you would like to do is kind of episodic type of stuff, to
Hmm.
similar to like you were saying the sci-fi shows that we've all seen or a lot of us have seen and watched and grow up knowing that kind of storytelling. And I think I honestly think something like that is the way moving forward, not just for Rippaverse, not just for Dirty Deeds. I feel, me personally, my opinion is that kind of storytelling should be adapted, maybe not necessarily as the standard, but as like the unspoken guideline
Mm.
for how comics should go moving forward. Because, like I said, especially with the big two and even established stuff like Spawn and from other publishers and stuff like that, there's just so much. It's hard for new readers to jump on in that doing an episodic style storytelling with the comic books would be amazing, and I love that that's what you have in mind moving forward.
Hmm.
Somebody said something. Hold on.
Yeah, sorry, yeah. Sylvan Jin got me
Yeah,
with that one.
yeah. Thank you. Yaira number 3 slaps harder than Will Smith at the Oscars. That's good. That's good. Nagardal said, "Wait, Comics Dad, you want a command on my channel, but I don't have a wrench on yours." Nagardal, we'll get to that. We'll talk about that later. No, is Nagardal put out a post on X. Is like, oh hey, I have command for a whole bunch of people to come in and say hi on my channel and whatnot. And I was like, I noticed I wasn't there, so I gave him just like a sad emoji.
Oh.
Well, you got it though, Nagardal. I'll take care of you, brother. You good. But yeah, so we have talked a lot about Dirty Deeds and we've talked about Rippaverse, but that is not all that you do. That is not all that you are known for. Uh, to at least to me and to the people that follow you very closely. For the people that may be watching that may not know, let me get my screen share up and going.
I'm afraid. What are you showing?
No, you're good. You're good. Nope. Why won't it put it up? Oh, that's why. Sorry. I'm working on it, people. I'm a functional idiot. There we go. So your
Oh,
website.
it's my
Yeah,
website.
your
Yeah.
website, stuff that you do kind of independently of Rippaverse. So let's
Yeah.
get into that, and because the whole point of the show is to talk about my guests and their stuff. And you are heavily embedded in Rippaverse with everything you have going on there, but you also have your own stuff you do, and I definitely want to give you the opportunity to talk about that. First and foremost, Carrow Brown, author, nerd, and taco lover. I want to
Yes.
talk about the taco lover part.
I fucking love tacos. I was on a stream once and we were supposed to be talking about one thing, but somebody mentioned tacos, and like 30 minutes later I was still talking about tacos. Um, I lived in Arizona for 15 years, so I'm kind of a taco snob because I had like
Okay.
the authentic tacos, like from the little grandma restaurant down the street. So when people were kind of like, "Do you want to go for tacos?" I'm like, "Well, where are we going? And who's the grandma in the kitchen? And like, how many of her sons are helping her? And stuff like that." But at one point, like, I had a spreadsheet of taco locations, and I was actually like rating them. And then people were it was a public spreadsheet I also had as well. And so like people were adding locations and addresses and like recommendations from the menu if I just happened to like go through their city. So yeah, so I still have it. I'm still gonna go check out these places if I ever go there. But yeah, I freaking love tacos. if I'm ever having a bad day, somebody can be like, "Do you want a taco?" I'll be like, "The answer is yes." It's like, "But you just had tacos." Like, I can eat another taco. Like, you don't understand. I freaking love tacos.
Well, when we can, and risk it for a biscuit with the taco emojis. That's right.
Yeah.
I am also a very big taco lover.
Yeah.
My wife, Queen Comic's wife, we when we can, and it's usually pretty regularly. Lately, we haven't done it because we're trying to watch some things, and also just kind of we haven't really been thinking about it. But for probably about 80% of the time, Tuesdays are Taco Tuesdays in our house, and
Mm.
Queen Mom's wife will put together some banging tacos.
Yeah.
So if we ever either catch you at a convention or if you ever end up in our neck of the woods or something like that, come on by. Queen Comics wife will hook you up with some tacos.
Yeah,
Just don't.
no, that's probably like the fastest way to drug me too. You just hand me a taco. I'm not even gonna check anything. I'm just gonna eat it, right? Like that. Yeah, you need
Oh,
to
for
trap.
sure.
You need to trap me. You've got like the comical, like, cardboard box with the stick. Is there a taco under it? You got me.
Instead of ooh a piece of candy, it's ooh a taco.
That's a taco. It's a fresh taco and not dipped in queso. Oh, let's try
Oh
that
yeah,
shit.
yeah.
Yeah.
No. Dipping tacos and putting like sauces and stuff like that. Salsa, sour cream. Those are the only two like somewhat liquids that are acceptable on a taco in my mind. Anything else needs to go away. If you want to do that, just eat a quesadilla.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a little bit of a taco puritan because if I need more to like accent the meat, then the meat's just wrong, right? Like
Oh yeah.
I should just be able to have like the meat cheese and the shell of whatever choosing I have, and that should just be good enough. If I have to put like extra cilantro or like lime or any of that, like it's
Now I do like a little bit of cilantro in my tacos. There's a taco place that we stop at whenever we go back to visit family in New Jersey,
mhm.
because there's a few of them in like the Philly area and in the DC area, a couple in New Jersey as well. They're called District Taco. Personally, I mean, it still doesn't beat like a fresh homemade taco or
Mhm.
like a cart or like a street cart taco,
Oh, street
but
cart. Oh,
yeah. But they are outside of that. It is probably the best thing outside of a homemade fresh homemade taco.
yeah.
So I will live and die by District Taco 9 times out of 10. And so they have like a lime rice that I get put in the taco. So like I'm not necessarily as much of a taco puritan as you,
Yeah.
but like I am kind of picky with what goes in my taco or on my taco. So I do feel you there.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we've been talking about tacos, and that's not why I pulled up your page.
Yeah, you said you wanted to know about the taco
Well, I
lover.
did,
I'm
I did,
explaining it.
and I
Yeah.
fell down that rabbit hole. Shame on me. But let's talk about. So you write you write some other comics independently, but you also write novels as well, and you
Yeah.
have two pen names. So let's, if you don't mind, go on into that for people and let them know kind of just what we're looking at here.
So I write, when I'm not. So I actually write three different ways. One, I'm a ghostwriter. So like right now, I just finished up some client work for somebody, because they're kind of like, I want to tell the story, but I don't have the skill set to tell it, and so they paid me. I did it and I sent it back. And that's because sometimes like individuals who want to tell a story, like I don't want to say they lack the skill set, but they're like sometimes they're busy, sometimes they just don't know how to approach it, and they just want to tell the story, right?
Mhm.
And I have no problem being paid to do that. That's
Yeah, it's a gig, it's a job, it pays the
yeah.
bills. Why not? Yeah.
Yeah, so that's one way I do it, and so that kind of work can be anything. Like I've done pretty much everything from like homicidal murders to kind of like cozy romance mysteries, right? And I always like that work because sometimes somebody would be like, I'm thinking this but that, and I was like, I haven't tried that combo before, but we'll make it work. So that's probably like my biggest learning ground, because usually when I work with a client, I'm kind of like, well, like what are some other books that you're thinking about that would be a competitor for this? And if I haven't read those books, then I go read them because I want to understand the reading expectations and the beats for those kinds of stories if I don't already know them.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, so that's one way. And then I have urban fantasy. So if you scroll down just a little tiny bit,
I just wanted to zoom in so people could get a better
yeah.
look.
So this is a good example. So Queen of Swords and Silence, that is my urban fantasy work. So that follows the story of a man-eating monster who's learning how to make friends and find love, while not getting blamed for the world ending. So that's a story that I really like. That's actually my first book that I ever wrote. You can find that on Amazon if you guys are interested. I've also got the audiobook on Spotify if you guys are audiobook lovers. I used to have it on Audible, but Audible did me dirty and I took the book off. So
That's a shame.
yeah. So and then
Screw all that. Screw them.
yeah.
They're not good enough for your works.
Like I'll talk about that later if we remember to circle back to it. But
Fair enough.
but then I have Faye Black, which is like my romance, like saucy time handle. And originally when I was writing, I was like, I just feel like writing a saucy story. And one of my friends who did always write saucy stories was like, we have to use a different pen name. And I was like, why? And she was like, well, it's going to confuse your readers. And I was like, if I write it, do they not know that I wrote it? And she was like, no, you don't understand. I was like, you're right, I don't understand.
I think I get it, but yeah, go ahead, Dom. I wanna see if my brain works as well as I think it does. So.
But the justification for it is because when people know that an author writes a particular kind of work, they just assume that they always write that kind of work. And when you deviate from it, it can kind of like create like a weird what's the word? It's gonna come to me before I go to bed. I'm like gonna send it to you on X. It can be what's the word? It's not meeting the expectation, right? Like if you see something that I wrote and you're expecting it to be urban fantasy, but then it turns out to be like a saucy romance, they're gonna be like, that's not what I wanted to read. Even if I write on the book blurb what the story is about and I make it really clear that there's butts and boobs on the cover, that it's probably a romance story because it's got the different it's a whole thing. Yeah. So yeah, separates the fandom. That's a good way to do that. Thank you for that.
Was like kind of like misleading expectations almost in a sense.
Yeah, that's a fancy way to say it. Yeah.
Inconsequent or unintended misleading expectations.
Yeah, I like that too. And in some cases it's actually necessary. Like there's an author that I follow. I think her name is, I can't remember her first name, but I think it's Melissa Hagg. And Melissa Hagg is actually really well known for writing middle school work, but she also likes to write saucy romances, but she can't do it under that name because if the kids who read the middle grade stuff, find that stuff, parents are going to get upset. So she made a separate pen name just for that, but it's like MGA Hagg or something like that. And that's why she had to do it. So in that situation, I get it. But that's why I have two pen names, because sometimes I want to write about violence and talking swords, and other times I want to write about two people falling in love and fighting for love and at some point banging. So,
well, there's definitely, and it's definitely it's definitely good for people to have multiple interests in terms of what you want to create, because if you just create the one thing over and over again, it can somewhat get stale. So I definitely think that's awesome that you're able to do that, because it also keeps your creative juices going. It helps you look at things from different perspectives when you're going to write something new, regardless of what genre you're writing for, because you could kind of draw from other genres and other stuff that you've worked on, and you have a perspective that maybe somebody who strictly like writes sci-fi or strictly writes superhero stories or strictly writes love stories won't necessarily have a perspective on. And you could tell a really unique and interesting story because you have the experience of of those different genres. Real quick, I am so sorry to do this both to you, Carrow, and to you and to everybody. I just got a message. I need to go take care of a dad duty real quick. So we are going to go on a quick hold for just a couple of minutes. I'll play some background music for everybody. Carrow, if you don't mind just hanging out for a few minutes. Everybody watching, if you guys don't mind hanging out for a few minutes. I am Comics Dad. Dad stuff always comes first.
You should take care of the dad stuff.
I will absolutely take care of the dad stuff. Everybody just hang out for a few minutes.
Gather round, it's story time.
Sorry, everybody. We are back. I appreciate everybody so much for hanging out for a couple of minutes there. Carol, I appreciate you hanging out as well. For anybody who noticed, John Ambler said, "Hey, I sent you a text message." He let me know that because Queen Comics' wife was trying to help with her little one. She woke up, I guess, to like a really bad dream or something like that, or maybe a night terror or something.
Oh.
But in her stupor of her whatever was going on, she was calling for dad. She was wanting daddy and whispering, "I want daddy, I want daddy." So,
Oh.
but thank you everybody so much for hanging out. I appreciate you guys for that. Carol, I appreciate you hanging out as well. I'm so sorry to have done that, but like I said,
but
I'm
Chat and I
comics
had
dad.
Chat and I had a good time. You're good.
Yeah, I see that. I see that you guys are having a good time. I probably you know what, in hindsight I probably should have just left you up so you can talk to them all. But note for next time. I'm only this is only the 7th show. I'm only a couple months into doing this. So
Oh, you're a veteran now. Good job.
yeah, right. Yeah, I've made somebody wait. I've been late. I've had tech difficulties starting a stream. So yeah, I'm a pro now. Wait, Comics Dad is a dad? Yeah, go figure. John Handler chat his takeover. Oh, Sonny Carrow Brown goes, let's go. um, but yeah, I mean, and is there? So we're talking about your stuff, and do you have any other books or maybe your own? Because like you have this one Raven of Ruin that I see you've been working on, and it looks like you're periodically putting out more pages as they get done.
Yeah, I try to post one of those like every Friday right now.
Okay,
So I did not draw this, by the way. This is done by LeBon. She's a very talented artist.
gotcha.
And I found her and I was like, "Hey, do you like to like do creepy stuff?" And she's like, "I sure do." And I was like, "Would you like to come and do creepy stuff with me?" And she's like, "Yeah, sure." And so she and I have been working on this comic for probably over a year right now.
Okay,
But what I wanted to do is I wanted to get a year of updates started because life happens, right? So I'm just posting one page at a time while she's working on the rest of them. But that's basically kind of like that's my high dark fantasy story that I wanted to tell that I'm very much in love with. I have been trying to tell the story for a very long time. And part of what I kept running into is I wasn't sure what medium I wanted to tell it.
okay,
And yeah, and so what happened is while I was trying to figure out if I wanted to do it in long form or something else, I ran into like LeBon's profile, her portfolio and her profile. And I was like, that's it. That's how I want to tell the story. And so it's just been like that since then.
Oh, that's cool. And she does great work. I poked around like the first 4 or 5 pages just to get a feel for it.
Yeah.
You definitely got something there, and I want to know more. So I'll maybe like another month or so when you put out 3-4 more pages, I'm gonna go in and read another 3-4 more pages.
No, thank you.
It's actually funny. That's kind of that's how you're doing that. My last guest actually, Blay Webb of Dreams Uncharted, his business model for doing his independent books is that he initially got the first, because he has 2 series. He got the first issues for those 2 series done out of pocket,
Hmm.
and then he's basically funding future projects by people going to his website and just donating what they can to get a new page released onto the website.
Yep.
So
I mean,
that
I'm not.
kind of has me similar, reminiscent of what he's doing and what you're doing with Raven of Ruin. It's an interesting and unique and pretty cool way of going about funding. So
Yeah.
if you
Yeah.
ever
So
if you ever wanted to go down that route, he would be a good guy to talk to about that model.
yeah, I mean, some you can't see it because you're not a member because there's other things that are on there because the stuff that's shown on the website is kind of free for members and some of it's not. But
Oh,
um,
okay.
yeah, but Raven of Ruin is the free one. And what I wanted to do with that is I wanted to kind of go back to like the old school webcomic days where you would like have an update 1 or 2 times a week for a story.
Mhm.
And I just went with one. And my goal is over time as I get more readers for the comic, when I finally get to like when it's time to print it, like I'll already have like a fan base that wants the physical copy of
Oh, for
it.
sure.
Yeah, so that's my goal with that. Oh, well, that's my secondary goal. My first goal is just to tell the story. So this is
Of
my
course.
my ultimate guilty pleasure project. That's just really something I wanted to do. So
Well, I can't wait for you to be putting out more pages, and I hope you get to a point where you can get the story out and then start doing maybe physical books after that.
Yeah, I might be looking at Rippaverse when we do that. So.
I was gonna say you've got a guy that you know that can hook you up. But and then I think I was because I was poking around a little earlier too, and when I went into merch, it looked like you actually had some other titles and stuff here.
Yeah, so what you can do on here is you can pay like the dollar for like the I think it's called the UBUB file or the Mobi file. And so what happens is you give me 99 cents, you get a file that you can download onto your Kindle and you can read it from there.
Okay.
Some of the stuff is also available on Kindle if you guys just want to stick with Kindle. It would be like my older stories just because I know sometimes people want to stick to a platform that they're familiar with. So I'm trying not to pigeon myself too much.
Yeah.
But so that's what I have on there. So Queen of Swords and Silence is the digital. This is all digital, by the way. If you try to order something from here, there is no physical copy. If you want a physical copy, you need to like tell me, and I can arrange it after that, but it won't happen from the website. So
Gotcha. All right. Yeah, I was just poking around just because I mean I'm comics ad for not just because I'm a dad, but also because I say every time I'm on stream I'm a functional idiot and I'm illiterate, so pictures definitely help. But every once in a while when I do find myself reading a novel, reading an actual book, it is the cover that typically sells me. So like already quarantined with my avatar, that already drew my attention. So I'm real curious about that. So I may check that one out myself coming up here when my brain feels like we're getting at more than 1%.
Yeah, well that's a short story I wrote when 2020 happened, and we were all like locked in our houses, and so like I'd gotten with people and I was like, let's just do an anthology, right? And I called it Quarantined With, and that got me some interesting reactions because I just wanted to do it just to give us something to do while we were all locked up in our houses and stuff like that, and some people took it personal. I ended up not finishing it because I was running into like issues with my publishing company that I had at the time.
Okay.
Too long didn't read. I got infiltrated by activists who decided that I had become the Antichrist, and so I fired everyone.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of these activists and these nonsensical shall we call them Pauls
Yes.
like from Spider-Man, that's what they need sometimes. It's just a real hard reality check, so good on you for doing that.
Yeah.
And you mentioned that these are available through Kindle.
Yes.
Which is Amazon, I believe.
Yes,
Nook is Barnes and Noble. Kindle is Amazon. And you mentioned earlier that there was some nonsense with Audible.
Yes.
I'm bringing it full circle.
Good job.
Found the connection. So if you want, because I'm definitely curious about that. If you don't mind going into that, or if you're allowed to go into that, I don't know.
Oh, it's
you
not.
Can't share.
I'm not under any NDA with Audible. Basically, the audiobook, if you guys ever go to Spotify, I paid for that, all of it, the entire production. I hired the narrator. I assisted like with all parts of it, right? And to completely produce that like cost me like $3,500. So it's not, so it's not it's not chump change.
No, definitely not.
Yeah, and the thing was like when I submitted it to Audible, because that was like the only one that I knew to go through, because the other options honestly didn't pop up until Audible started having like major issues and people started making other options after that. But when I was trying to submit everything through Audible, my experience with customer service at Audible was actually pretty atrocious. Like at one point when I reached out to them, because I had waited almost like 6 months for my book to be released on the platform. And I was like, hey, I just wanted to do a follow-up because it's been 6 months and, I'm not trying to like push. I just want to understand what's going on.
Yeah,
and
of course.
And they were like, we'll get to you when we get to you. Like that was the response that they gave me. And I was like, wow. Right.
That's a bunch of crap.
Yeah, but Lisa, who is my narrator, she reached out and they're like, oh, Lisa, thank you so much for reaching out. We're happy to help. Like, don't worry about it. We're going to work on this. And she sent me the message and I was like, what the fuck is that? Because I sent her the message back too.
Yeah.
So we sent each other the message and she's like, that's some BS. But she said it. She's a very nice lady. So she didn't say it the way that I normally would. But she was definitely like kind of like miffed at the diverse treatment that we both got.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. And I mean, she's a well-known narrator, so it would make sense that she's more familiar with the team and she's got better rapport. But it was just the fact that it was kind of like, you're nobody, fuck off. And I was like,
yeah.
It was like, Yeah.
that elitist, very very soy kind of attitude.
Yeah.
And they're Seattle based, so you got to take that all into consideration.
Yeah, something
And
for sure.
yeah, and you were mentioning about the people at your publishing company. I actually forgot I have a little clip here that was kind of going to go into just a couple of the maybe side topics that I had on hand for after our main conversation.
Mhm.
But it kind of goes hand in hand. So you're talking about you have activists and in publishing company, and that's I consider publishing and book writing as part of entertainment. There is a very popular activist in entertainment right now who's going viral for a certain dance he was doing. And I don't know if you know who we're talking about.
I've been following the court case more
Oh,
closely.
oh no
So,
no no no, not that.
yeah.
Our
Yeah.
favorite, everybody's favorite Hollywood actor that's in friggin' everything right now. Talking,
Oh,
yeah, Pedro Pascal.
I haven't been tracking him since he became obnoxious.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
that's been a while.
yeah, that's been a while, but yeah, he was recently at a film festival talking about like Orange Man bad and illegal
Oh,
immigration good and all the blah blah blah. But you mentioned those activists that had infiltrated your company, and all I could think of was this. And he had been caught on video just a couple of days ago dancing very oddly, and I have it in this clip I'm gonna play.
okay. Let's see this.
Why
Clip.
are you gay?
Who says I'm gay?
You are gay.
No, I had not seen that. That is wow.
There's more to it than that, but that is like the big takeaway. Like whatever that light stick is, he did that, and he was like holding it above his head and moving really.
You know, maybe he I don't know what he did before he became an actor, and I'm not gonna judge, but maybe he was just like channeling his roots. I don't know.
But every time I went to go find that clip for putting that into that little video there, the music for whatever reason, like it is because the original video of that is just gone off of X for some reason. I
Oh,
cannot
no,
find it
somebody
anymore.
saved it. It will never die.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously you did. You have it.
Yeah. Well, no. I found because there's footage floating around without the audio, but like the music, it was for all I know, it could have been like a pre-Pride Month rave party or something. I don't know because it was really, yeah. A brisket for a biscuit says it definitely gets worse.
Oh.
Yeah. So it was, but just that, yeah. All I could think of was everybody's favorite. I think he's from Nigeria, Nigerian newsman. Why are you gay? That's all I could think of when I saw that, so I had to put that together.
Mhm.
But definitely before we just get into a couple of cool or not cool but a couple of just secondary topics to close out the show with, first and foremost, definitely everybody go check out Carrow's website, carrowbrown.com. Go check out her other books that she's got there. Become active member or become a member of her Patreons, members of
If
her
you want.
website if you can, if you want, and if you
Yeah.
can go, if you like not just comics but if you like novels as well, like she was discussing a couple of different types that she has, go check it out. But what I do have here, because I do have a couple of things, and so today was, no, we're not gonna. Yeah, today Epic Universe had opened, but I think everybody's heard enough about Epic Universe to kind of keep it on topic for comics. Let's go on over to here. So from That Park Place, Marvin Montanaro wrote an article just today, actually. So Kevin Feige and Bob Iger reportedly have been clashing over what to do with the X-Men, the impending X-Men movie that will eventually be happening. And apparently, just from the summation of the article, is apparently Iger is actually acting like a businessman for the first time in years, and is worried about kind of the financial impacts on the company that of wanting to put out a good X-Men movie. Meanwhile, Kevin Feige wants to do Kevin Feige things and wants to have, where was it? It was quoted in here, a socially charged story about mutant identity, prejudice, and the philosophical rift between the X-Men and the Brotherhood of Mutants.
I hate it.
And honestly, that is really you put it plain and simple. That is the only reaction that I think anybody should be giving at this point. But and I don't know how much you pay attention to like what's going on outside of your own stuff and Rippaverse and all that. But Bob Iger, yeah, he has been like an activist CEO for years. And
No, yeah, I've been keeping tabs on Bob for a while.
But the fact that he even is like, hold on.
He's still singing the same tune that's been losing his company money for like a really long time, and it's always amazing how like this mindset continues to prevail, even though the products that they're producing like seem to have like dwindling like returns.
Yeah.
I mean, say what you want about like the actors in like the Deadpool movie and stuff, and all the antics that they have going on right now, but like when Deadpool and Wolverine came out, like people went to go watch it and they really liked it, right?
Oh yeah, and they still have the occasional win, but like as a whole though, and honestly, it's kind of this guy's fault, at least from the Marvel perspective. Marvel Comics is down, and Marvel Comics is separate from Marvel Studios, as everybody knows. But like Marvel Comics and Marvel Studios, they are somewhat hand in hand still. So the decisions that this guy makes is going to affect Marvel Comics. And a lot of what he's been pushing in Marvel Studios ever since Favreau and what is it? I can't. I'm drawing. Why am I drawing a blank on the brothers? But the Russos, there we go. The Favreau and the Russos and all the people that actually made good early MCU stuff have been gone. His Feige's own activist slop has been coming in, and here we go, coming back to activism, and that was already rooted in the Marvel Comics, but now that the MCU is kind of in line, it's only getting worse for Marvel Comics. And I think that the fact that Bob Iger now is even like we're getting reports that he's even like kind of wanting to pump the brakes a little bit on this stuff, that says a lot.
Well, I mean, it's been nothing but like dwindling returns. Like I don't know if you noticed, but they put they put Snow White back in the theater and nobody went, so they had to take it down again, right? And that doesn't really have anything to do with like the actor's drama. The film just isn't good.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. It was awful. My 5-year-old loves Snow White, and she didn't want to see it. And real quick before we keep going, just real quick on Rumble, Toasty with the Mosty has raided the stream over on Rumble. Toasty, thank you so much for raiding the stream. Everybody, if you know who Toasty is, and you haven't done so already, please go follow her on Rumble, subscribe to her on YouTube. Toasty, thank you so much for the raid. I appreciate it. I'm sorry, I'm just noticing it now. I don't know if it came in just in 30 seconds ago or a couple minutes ago, but thank you so much for the raid, Toasty. I appreciate it. But anyway, you were saying, I'm sorry, Kara. I just wanted to acknowledge the raid. That was very kind to you, Toasty.
Oh no, you're good. I mean, that's pretty much it. I don't know. It's the thing is like when people in business realized that they could make money off of nerds, right? Like originally it was like the glory days for us because we were seeing like all of our favorite stuff like come out and looking like fantastic, and we were just like living like our best fantasies and whatnot. But then what happened was the CEOs at the very top, who are very like profit and business focused, were kind of like, okay, let's milk this cow. And, ever since then, because the business has taken over the creativity and the things that we came to love about like these various IPs that they're trying to make money with, like they're taking the soul out of it. And, us as the customers, right? Like this is the stuff that we want to buy. And if this is, I mean, like what's a good franchise that people have stood by for like years despite everything?
Specifically from Marvel or just in general?
I think just in general, like
just in general, I would probably say, well, up until recently, Doctor Who.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, Doctor Who's a really good one. Like I was a Whoian, right, for a really long time. Again, another show my father and I watch, but I will never put time travel in any of my stories because if it's not a timey-wimey story, it should not have time travel in it. Shame on anybody who does that.
Fair.
Like I think I was flexible with the direction that Doctor Who was taking all the way up until the 12th Doctor, and then I was like, I don't know what you guys are doing. It's been years. I'm gonna walk away now.
Yeah.
But even though it was like that, I still kept tabs on it, thinking like maybe the next Doctor will come and the directors will take a different approach, and it didn't happen like at all, right? No. And it just got worse, and it's not going to get any better because the thing with like BBC is it's not viewer funded. So, kind of like, remember like, CBS and stuff like that. It's like brought to you by viewers like you.
Yeah. Nope. It is 100% globalist, socialist, UK politician run, owned and operated.
Yeah. It's made from tax money. So if you pay taxes, you're paying for this crap on TV right now.
Yeah.
so because they don't have to worry about making the profit on that because they have guaranteed money, they're going to do whatever they want. And even if it's wrong, and or not wrong, but even if it breaks the faith of the fan, I'll say it that way. And it's such a sad thing to see too, because like, I mean, fans, like, there's a whole like, micro economy on stuff like this. I mean,
of
like,
course.
look at Star Wars, for example. People will identify as one of the factions, like, am I a Jedi or a Sith? Am I a Mandalorian? They'll get tattoos. They'll name their children after characters, right? Like
Yep.
they get really invested in this. Like I'm happy I've never gotten a tattoo of an IP, because so far all my favorite IPs have been like kind of used as dog water at this point.
Well, that's why I like, since you mentioned that, that's why I like my tattoos, and that's why my wife likes her tattoos.
Mm-hmm.
They are IPs that haven't been necessarily sullied up until this point. My wife is a big Supernatural fan, so she's got the if you're familiar with Supernatural, and anybody watching that is, she's got the protection emblem.
Mm-hmm.
She's got that on her forearm. But then we are also both fans of the very popular manga and anime One Piece.
That's a good one.
So
Yeah.
she's got the Jolly Rogers for Sanji and Brooke on her arm. And then I've actually got, if you can see, I've got that really cool straw hat Jolly Roger there. So yeah, like yes, and she's also got Gengar, and I actually also have Totodile.
Oh, I love that.
So yeah, definitely with Western IPs, I will not put Western IPs on my body at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and that's why the East is king right now. But
mm-hmm.
hope there's been some things coming out and some rumblings that may not necessarily be the case for too much longer with certain IPs and with certain creators out of the East, which is unfortunate. But
it's always so weird. So like I grew up reading manga, right?
Mhm.
And it's been kind of funny to watch this pendulum swing with manga and in the West, because way back in like the 80s and the 90s, like the manga they were pushing it, were really pushing like some gender sexuality stuff. So like Revolutionary Girl Utena is a really good example. Rama One Half, right? Most mangas that were coming out at the time at some point had like the drag queen episode, right? It's the stuff that would make Westerners uncomfortable, and they were kind of like, you need to take that out, you have to make it appropriate for us, right? Yeah. And so now that they're doing like more nuclear family, more like hetero stuff, they're like, you need to put that gay shit back in there. Like, where is it? You did this back with Rama One Half for like 10 years. Like, what
they need some more of this.
Why are you gay?
Who says I'm gay?
They want the West wants more of that. That's what they want in their manga and in their entertainment.
But I'll tell you, they've got plenty of it in the manga. It's just not mainstream. It's for a very niche group. So
for sure. Well, I mean, and even then, I didn't really get into manga until I was an adult, with the exception of Dragon Ball and One Piece. But I can only imagine that those early mangas that were coming over to the West, like with the cross dressing and all that stuff, was it like, were they being serious about it, or was it kind of like how 80s and 90s entertainment in the West saw drag, where it was a joke?
I mean, like, this was probably actually one arguments that my dad and I got into, because I started reading Rama One Half because I just thought it was funny, right? But my dad read Rama One Half, and he was just kind of like, I don't know what this is, but you need to stop reading it, right?
Really?
Yeah, no, because I mean, if you actually look through it as through the lens of a protective father, right? And you're like, and your teenagers reading this, you've got perverts, you've got stalkers, you've got guys flipping up skirts, you got a guy turning into a chick, you've got like,
that's true, yeah.
Sometimes you got weird bestiality stuff. It's Rama One Half. They've got everything, right?
Yeah, I've never really thought about that, because there are plenty of other like animes and mangas as well, even nowadays, where like there are those kind of like pervy and like very inappropriate undertones, even sometimes crosses the line even for like the target audience of teenagers. Yeah. So I never even really thought about that, just because I'm so used to reading manga and seeing it. I never thought about it from a parent's perspective. Granted, I am one, but my kids don't read manga. The one is too young to read, and the other one has no interest in comics or manga, unfortunately. I dropped the ball, so.
But yeah, so my dad read it, and his big concern was like, one, this stuff is weird, right? And he was like, I don't want you reading this and thinking that this is typical behavior. Like we
Yeah.
had such a long talk about it. And yeah, so it's just interesting. I mean, it's still out there, and I still think Rama One Half is a really fun story. I would, if you're not like super moral on that front, I'd say read it. It's a good laugh in some places, but there's definitely parts where even I was like,
Yeah, I mean, for me, like I'll read it, but so like, and depending upon how it's portrayed, I won't necessarily just throw it right in the trash, but it's kind of like a 60-40 chance that I might, but yeah, though, if I can definitely see your father's reaction being my reaction if my kids were to maybe pick that up and read it. So uh what's up? Oh, your microphone fell apart. No, you're good. Nope, can't hear you. Nope, can't hear you. Ah, man. Well, just keep on trying, keep on doing your thing, and when I hear you, I'll let you know. Is it that just your mic completely gave out, or that's no bueno. Um, crap. I'm trying to think of a workaround here. Uh, what I guess I could do is, do you have a Discord? Because what I could do is I can send you a call on Discord, and I'll just hold my phone up to the microphone. Igor goes, classic Carrow at the start of every meeting, muted by accident. Riskett says taco bout mic drop. Hey, there we go. I hear you.
okay, we're gonna have to. I don't know why it just decided to die, but I can hear you just fine. I'll just have to talk a little louder. And Igor's right. At some point, my mic just mutes, and everyone laughs at me because I'll be like,
Hey, I've done that too. I've pulled the very famous Jeremy Prime, the 199, where I will start a stream and I am muted. I've done that once or twice already, but good that we got the mic worked out though.
yes.
But no, you're good. I can hear you perfectly fine now. So I did actually want to talk about this because this is actually kind of Rippaverse related to us in a sense. So from bleedingcool.com, Image asks comic stores to destroy the Moon is Following Us collection. So the Moon is Following Us is actually a very good uh, uh, series out of Image right now, written by Daniel Warren Johnson, who's also writing Transformers from Image, which is arguably, if not as good as OG Marvel Transformers, maybe better,
hmm
just in my personal opinion. So, Transformers, Image, Skybound, go check it out. It's awesome. But so same writer, it's a very good story. But the article isn't necessarily about the story of the book itself. What basically happened was Image put out their Volume One collection, which is like the first 6 issues or something, and they reached out to comic book stores asking them to put a stop on selling copies of the volume and potentially destroy any ones they have because there was a misprint where there are actual pages missing from the volume. So and it just kind of with everything that went on with Zaylin, with the ever so slight, which honestly I don't even think most people noticed. I didn't notice when I was flipping through Zaylin. I haven't read it yet, but I do remember seeing that spread as I was flipping through it. I didn't notice at the time, but it really just kind of shows that like these bigger guys. I mean, Image is not the big two, but it's still Image. Image has been around for forever.
Yeah, yeah.
Like they're not even, and you don't hear about this stuff often, but I think part of the reason why this has been highlighted is because of you guys and Eric going public with the slight mishap with Zaylin and offering the 60% off or offering to replace the book because that one spread is like slightly askew with the pages lining up.
I mean, I wish it was just one spread. I mean, the really quick, easy story on that was on Monday. Somebody in our community Discord had posted a picture asking if anybody else had had something like that. And Andrew brought it to my attention because I was on my way to the warehouse, and he's like, "Hey, can you verify?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And so, because if it's just one person that's got like a misprint, that's an easy fix. We just send him a new one.
Yeah.
Right. Because that's what we do. And we've done it before. Like I've had people send me pictures of stuff, and they're like, "Hey, what can we do?" And I was like, "Keep that one. We'll send you another one," because it's just what we do. But then I realized that it was in all of them, on all the covers and every issue. And so, we got together, and Eric made the call about what to do, and he was like, "Stop distribution. We're gonna fix this, and we're gonna do what we can." But I mean, we didn't tell anybody to like. I mean, I know we stopped selling it, but we didn't tell anybody else to like destroy their copies or anything.
No, of course, and that's kind of the that's kind of why I wanted to bring this up, because like you guys didn't do that. You guys were just like, "Hey, send it back to us.
Mm-hmm.
We'll take care of it, and then we'll send you a new one when we get the new ones in. Like, no big deal." Or people could look at it from a collector's perspective of just keep it, and then also you guys were courteous enough and generous enough and to not just own it, but also do something to try to make up for it
Yeah.
by offering anybody that bought a copy 60% off on their next order site wide, which is awesome. As opposed to Image, I mean, they're just like, no, retailers, destroy them all. We will send you more, but destroy them. We don't want them getting out there. I mean, missing pages as opposed to a misaligned, I can kind of understand it, but even then, though, like that's just burning money at that point. Like,
yeah, that's impressive. I mean, if the comic shop can go ahead and I'm sorry, we're not putting the statues on there too, Riz. But I mean, like, I'll be honest. Like, once the stores have them, unless they're under contract, if they want to sell the misprints, then that's really up for them. But
yeah.
So.
But yeah, is the exact quoting from the article is that what is it? Copies of The Moon is Following Us trade paperback volume 1 contains misprint due to missing pages. Please destroy all copies. A reprint is in process.
Yeah.
If you bought a copy, you might want to return it to the store in question and let them destroy it before your very eyes, possibly with their teeth that await the incoming replacement copy.
I mean, however they want to do that. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, one of the things that happened when we were answering tickets on Tuesday is I did have a couple of people, because we took the whole thing off the website, and like, "Can I still buy like a misprint copy?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure. Here's an invoice." Right.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Some people still wanted them, so we gave it to them.
Yeah. Well, and especially because I mean, like Eric, even in the video that was put out, Eric even has it shown what the issue is, and like honestly, even when he pointed it out, it took me a second to really notice it. Yeah, there you go. I was gonna say, I got mine right here, so
it probably doesn't look too bad.
Now here, I'll go over to here and bring you on up.
Oh, here, let me find a more egregious one.
No, but it's not. I wouldn't have even thought twice about it, to be honest. I don't think anybody would have. But part of that also is because, like, between you and Kara and Eric, of course, being just upfront and being the CEO and everything, and making some of the harder decisions on stuff like this, like, you guys own it if something happens, and okay, but see, like that kind of stuff doesn't bother me. Like, as long as the book is not actually falling apart, it does not bother me. Yeah, right there in the center.
Yeah, so it's just, I mean, it's just stuff. It's just little tiny things like that. And I know like some people are like, that's not a big deal, but it's a big deal to us because we want to give like the best quality. And so when we found out that this was a thing, it was like Eric was like, we definitely have to fix it. And so I was like, okay, we're gonna fix it. I keep saying these are obviously like big calls that Eric makes, and we just like we make it happen. So.
Well, and all props to Eric and the whole team, you and everybody else as well, for just owning it. And honestly, that's probably better than saying, "Hey, we'll just send you all new copies."
Mm-hmm.
Just owning it and admitting that you made that there was not even necessarily you guys, but just that there was a mistake. Period. Because I'm not going to go through the whole, like, if you guys want to know more about exactly what happened and everything, Eric has a video out on, I'm pretty sure on the YouTube channel. I know it's on X as well, so you guys can go watch that to get the full detailed story behind that. But yeah, it's just the fact that you guys call it out, and you play down the middle. And that's all that anybody really wants, and it's all about integrity, and you guys have the integrity to do that. So Caffeinated Wolf says telling retailers to destroy all first prints is a guaranteed way to ensure that they actually hang on to them and flip them as valuable misprints. Now, I would agree if it was the actual floppies, but it was volume 1 trade paperback. So I don't know how much resell as a valuable collectible misprint on that would be, because you got the floppies out there. Now, if it was a first,
somebody wants it. I'm sure somebody does.
maybe it is a good read. Definitely do recommend it. The Moon is Following Us, but I don't know. Maybe if it was like first print issue 1 misprint in a floppy, then oh yeah, for sure, big collectible. And then what else I've got here is I just got some good stuff just some fun stuff to go over. So we went over The Moon is Following Us. Real quick, Street Fighter talks that Roman Reigns and Jason Momoa may be starring in the upcoming legendary productions of Street Fighter. Oh wait, screen share. There we go. I forgot to put the screen share back on. See, I don't know what I'm doing. But what have you heard about this? Have you seen about this? This was like within the last couple of days that this has been floating around there.
No, I hadn't heard about it, and I mean, don't get me wrong, I like Jason in a lot of things. I don't like. Is he gonna play like Beast? Like, what's he gonna do? I can't remember his name off the top of my head.
Blanca.
Blanca, yeah.
Honestly, I could see Roman Reigns as Blanca because Roman Reigns has the emotional range of a potato. So, I'm not a big wrestling fan, but I was still kind of watching wrestling when Roman Reigns came onto the scene with like the Shield, and then I went back for a little bit after he broke off from the Shield. Yeah, so like Blanca maybe would be the only thing Roman Reigns would be suited for. I can't see Jason Momoa as anything in Street Fighter, really.
Yeah.
Except for if they decide to do South or what is it? Samoan either Ken or Ryu.
That's a fast way to make me not watch any of that.
Yeah,
I'm surprised they didn't put who they were considering for Chun-Li, because Chun-Li's like the seller. That and Cammy. Like,
oh yeah.
If I was the marketing person, I would have had like 2 dudes, 2 chicks, and let the viewer guess like what role they were gonna be. Like this is a nothing burger to me.
I think it was in the comment threads of this. Yeah, here it is. Roman Reigns is Chun-Li.
I guess it is 2025. I shouldn't judge.
So there you go. There's
those hair buns are quite fashionable.
Oh man, that's yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's honestly, I mean, everybody's been wanting a really good like a legitimately good Street Fighter movie. Me personally, 94 Street Fighter with Jean-Claude Van Damme can never be topped. Parts of it are good, but then just the overall cheesiness and over the topness of it is kind of what just makes it as enjoyable as it is.
I think sometimes it's okay to leave something as an animation, and yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And I 100% agree with that. Like what was it? Granted, Transformers, like the Michael Bay films, especially the first one back in the day, that like blew everybody's mind. One of the greatest like pyrotechnics and action scene, computer generated action scenes we'll probably ever see.
And the constant playing of the Linkin Park song, like it was just kind of like, can we play the song now? Like, play the song. It's like, it's an action scene. Play the song.
Yeah.
They're driving down the road. Play the song. Yeah. It's the credits. Play the song.
Yup. But if that movie were to never happen, I would perfectly have been okay with Transformers just staying purely animated.
Yeah. I mean, if you're going to do it well. But it's like, I think we're running into like this thing where we're going back to like the businessman and the cash cow thing, right? And so they're just trying to make money off of the nerds. And now we're getting to the point where it's like, no, I think I'm going to go and like spend it on something else.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's just me. I identify as this picture.
Oh yeah. This is me too.
Yeah.
This is
Hello,
not my
fellow dweebs.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh, what's going on, kids? Master Roshi for the win. That's not my wife though, because my wife, I actually got her into anime, so she still has like the youthfulness of like a young anime watcher because it's all fresh and new to her.
Not jaded.
Like she's not jaded by having decades of watching all these different animes come and go, and like now have expectations for anything that comes out.
I was watching Gundam with a friend, like the original Gundam.
Yes.
And I was telling one of my friends, it's like I think if I had been like, an edgy 14-year-old boy, like I would have been really into like Gundam, but like watching it as like, a 40-something-year-old woman, I'm kind of like, where's the plot? Like there's no plot.
No, you don't need plot.
No plot.
And it's just the plot is giant robots fighting. That's the plot. So I don't know the virtual background if this will be seen, but I just the last couple of days I've been doing model building of an Optimus Prime plastic model.
Mm-hmm.
I have Gundam models here, and this one I'm going to do eventually on stream. This is the original Gundam Amuro Ray's Gundam, the RX-78-2.
Yeah, that's a good
so
shit.
I will build this on stream one day. It may take a couple of streams, but just because you mentioned Gundam, I had to show that. But,
Yeah, that one's good. Iron-Blooded Orphans is really good if you like Gundam with mafia stuff and space battles. That's really good.
I have Gundam Barbatos model over here in the box behind me.
Yeah,
that is also going to be built on stream one day.
yeah, that's a good shit.
Yeah, I gotta watch. Was it Witches of Mercury?
That's what I've heard nothing but good things about that. I need to watch it too.
Favorite Gundam series? Go.
Oh, Iron-Blooded Orphans.
Okay.
First one, the second one like made me angry, but
fair enough. I gotta go with a goldie but a goodie. I gotta go Gundam Wing as my number one.
Mm-hmm.
But as a close second, I am a very big fan of G Gundam.
Oh, that's a good one. I keep trying to watch like Gundam Unicorn, and I get to like episode 2, and I'm kind of like, I think I'm okay.
Yeah, Gundam Unicorn I can't get into.
Yeah.
Well, we'll talk, and I'll talk Gundam all night with you if you let me. But here you go. You strike me as a steak kind of gal. Me and Queen Comics Wife, we love our steaks.
Okay.
This is just, I think, I saw this and I feel this is the probably the appropriate way to look at steaks. So you got all the way up here, delicious and flavorful, rare. Still delicious and flavorful, medium rare, medium, okay, stop right there, we could still save this. Medium well, your mommy cuts your steak for you. And then well done, do you need a Bud Light to wash it down?
That's good.
So, on this scale, where do you like your steaks?
I like it to moo at me.
Okay, so you're up right on top and delicious.
I've literally gone to a steakhouse and they're like, how rare do you want it? And I was like, how rare will you make it? And like all they did was like flip it on the grill and then give it to me. I still ate it.
That is Queen Comics Wife back over here. That she is the exact same way. She wants it to wiggle sometimes.
Yeah.
And I understand the allure behind having a really, really rare steak, but I grew up in a medium rare household, so I'm okay with still delicious and flavorful.
Yes.
That's just me though. Brisket still mooing interior. John Abler medium rare. Naganal was saying solo leveling is dope as fuck. Yeah, leveling is dope.
The director who does those action sequences needs to be given more work. That's what it is.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Caffeinated Wolf, great minds think alike. Gundam Wing followed by G Gundam. Absolutely. And also Carrow is correct, not bleeding equals not eating.
Yeah.
That's fair. And then guys, as I'm going through these last couple of things here, if anybody has Queen Comics Wife says it can only be rare. So you two would probably be best friends. But if anybody has any questions for Carrow, go ahead and put them in the chat. Because a few more minutes here, just a couple more fun things to share with you guys, and then we'll be closing it out. So if anybody has any questions that they want to ask Carrow, speak now or forever hold your peace. Unless I've kicked open a door and a lot of people start asking you to come on their streams now, then you'll have forever. Then you guys will have plenty of opportunities to ask her, which I hope that happens.
Oh,
and if anything, I can then say, hey, I had her on my stream before everybody else started doing it.
Yeah, you're the trailblazer. Good job.
And that's part of the reason I reached out to you is because I love the dirty deeds and I wanted to pick your brain about that and everything you were doing. But also I was like, you know what? Carrow needs some damn love too. Let's get her on a stream. Damn it, let's go.
Oh, that's very sweet of you. Thank you.
What else did I have here? Just the Sasuke sisters. I saw this a little earlier. Move like everything is gonna work out because it is.
Yeah, they got some great motivational stuff on there.
Yeah, that's just for anybody who like it earlier in the show we were talking about just kind of me, Queen Comics Life. We've been leaning more into our faith, and I know there's people in the chat that do that as well. But if there's anybody that isn't, this is also another great way to look at things. Like move like everything is going to work out because it is, and that is fantastic. That's a fantastic way to look at things moving forward. But let's see. We've got okay, here we go. Caffeinated Wolf, more dirty deeds now. Risk it for a biscuit. Hashtag more dirty deeds.
I can't answer those questions, guys.
Jen Self Saska, more dirty deeds or we riot.
No,
Jen,
no,
you know
no.
the answer to that probably.
I know how much trouble the twins can make. I don't want you to riot. Please don't riot. I like it when you're calm and happy.
They're getting worked up now. Let's go. Caffeinated Wolf Carrow will have a flood of humans there for her at Fan Expo.
That's BS, and you know it, Andrew.
No. I think Andrew's right. Unfortunately, I will not be one of them. Queen Comics Wife and I, we would have liked to go down to Dallas, but between just because we're up in the Northeast, so between just the travel down there, especially for just a couple of days, and then also we got nobody that would watch the kids. We'd probably have to bring the kids with us. So unfortunately, we love the kids, we love our children, we love the comics kids, but like for like the meetup part that would happen after the convention, like we probably wouldn't be able to go to that. And like between that and the cost of everything, like unfortunately we can't do it.
If we're doing a meetup, nobody's told me.
Not fair enough. Well, I know there's like a couple of unofficial ones being planned out by some people. Like I know Jay Drunk 3PO has been talking about possibly doing one. I know that just some members of the comics crew and Queen Comics community, like our mods John Ambler, Deborah Perkins, they've been talking about just grabbing people from the convention and going and doing something. So I mean there's a couple of smaller things going on, and I think like some of the G&G crew that's going down, I think they might be doing something with some people. I don't know, but we're not going to be there, unfortunately. We would like to try to go to MegaCon next year though. So
we'll definitely be there.
Yeah. So definitely if especially if you're going to be there at MegaCon, Carrow, we would absolutely love to see you, because we're gonna try and get down there. Don't know. It's a little far out to start planning that for us, but hopefully we get down there for that.
So pro tip, plan now, because if you put off trying to go there, and I'm not even talking about plane tickets, but the hotels get booked like real fast. That's like probably the biggest issue we keep running into when we have to go to MegaCon. It's like, where can we go hotel wise?
Well, that's in Orlando, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, hotel we'd be able to kind of work that out. It's just a matter of if we could actually get down there, because that's not a problem. We got we got some friends and some family that have some hookups for us down there for having a place to stay, so that wouldn't be an issue. But let's see, Andrew is right. Be like Andrew, be right.
You're lucky. You're delightful, sir.
Yeah, Andrew. I need to find a way to get in touch with you too, man, because I'd like to, as long as Andrew you enjoyed and Carol you enjoyed your time here, I'd definitely like to show some more love to the behind the scenes folk over at Rippaverse. Andrew, Kara, yourself, anybody else, Bruce running the warehouse down there. Gotta maybe see if we can get some other people.
I could just tell Andrew to do it. Andrew, come on the stream one day. There you go.
There we go. But yeah, so Carrow, do you have, I know we went over your website, and I know we went over Dirty Deeds and everything, but do you have anything that maybe we haven't discussed yet that you'd like to talk to people about and let them know that you have going on or coming up?
Oh, man, Andy made me big. You know, I have to be honest with you, like my life is like one release at a time and one convention at a time. So that's kind of like how my mind works. I think, you know what, I'll tell you something. We're doing something next week.
Okay.
That's what I'll tell you. We're doing something next week. So I would have that on your radar for sure.
Okay. Very, very cryptid, but
we're doing a thing. I can't tell you what the thing is, but we're doing it.
It's very informative as well. So
yeah.
What is it? Andrew, I just do what Carol tells me to do because I choose life. Igor, we all do. Igor, you too, man. I didn't know you were still here hanging out, brother. Next week, Jesus, I have to prepare. What should I wear? I don't know.
What
You're
you
your Sunday
always
best,
do.
man.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, Carrow, thank you so much for coming on and hanging out tonight. I really appreciate it. It's been an absolute pleasure to speak with you about just all sorts of things. You definitely are kind of people here in the comics crew community. We definitely would love to have you back someday too. Maybe if it's more dirty deed stuff, or maybe if you got like another book or a project you want to talk about, you're more than welcome. Shoot me a message, hit me up, and be like, "Hey, listen, I want to come push my stuff on your channel." And I'm like, "Hey, no problem, push your stuff. I'll take a back seat. Let's go."
Oh.
Because what is
If
that?
I come back, I'm probably gonna bring the crew with me, and then you can deal with like all of us like bickering on
Oh, jeez.
on the screen together. We've done that before. There was a friend of mine. His handle is called A Drink with Crazy, and he was like, "Yeah, I want to bring the Rippaverse crew," and I was like, "Who's all coming?" And like, I think it was like how many, Andrew? I think it was like 6 of us showed up, and he didn't know what to do with us.
Yeah, I especially considered this is a one-on-one format. I mean, I'm not saying don't do it. Have at it. Just be prepared to have me like a deer in the headlights the whole time. Like, where do I begin with you all?
Oh, see, that will be your first. You can have your first group panel.
Yeah, I hosted one for Queen Comics Wife on her channel for her birthday, and then also for her celebrating 100 followers on Rumble. But I have yet to do one that was like organized and like planned out and had thought behind it over here. So yeah, that would, and especially like it was just like kind of people that we know and like where we become buddies with and everything. Having a whole core group of people from all the same thing on, all like kind of yelling at each other because you're all friends, and I'm just like, I'll just stand back here. The referee's putting the whistle away. You guys have at it.
Yeah, no, it was fun. It was a good time. So
Andrew says, "Yeah, 6 of us. He wasn't ready."
yeah.
Well, I will do my best to prepare. But Carrow, thank you again. I appreciate it. Chat, all 15 of you hanging out between YouTube and Rumble. Thank you so much for being here. Guys, please hit the like button if you haven't done so already. Please subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed tonight's show. I've got other content on the channel as well. I have comics read-alongs that I do. If you want to hear me do serious voices and funny voices at the same time, I do that. I have gaming streams. And then also besides this, this is a bi-weekly show, Talkin' Shop, and I have another bi-weekly show where my wife and I, we get on and we just talk to the chat and hang out.
Nice.
But just everybody, please, thank you so much for your support and for being here, hanging out tonight. Tomorrow is Friday, so probably game stream tomorrow. Over the weekend, we'll probably bring back multiplayer night. So, Carrow, if you have a Mario Kart on your Switch, or if you have like some of the popular
I don't want you
multiplayer,
to hate me, so no. This is why I don't play with Andrew, because I need him to still like me somehow.
no, you're good. But I was doing for a while multiplayer streams with the chat, so like people come in, play Mario Kart, Fortnite, like Fall Guys, like maybe have enough people maybe to do Among Us one day. My wife and I, we take turns doing Quiplash from Jackbox Party Games sometimes.
Oh, that Jackbox is good.
Yeah, so
that's a great way to roast people too.
oh yeah. So you ever want to, you guys ever, if you guys ever see, especially if you're subscribed to the channel, you'll see it. Or if you follow me on X, I also post on X when we're doing streams like that. So if you guys follow or subscribe or whatever, you'll see it. Come on, hang out if we do one of them. Open invite to anybody in the chat hanging out for that. Risk It says you don't want none of this, Comics Dad. Bring it, Risk It. Bring it. It sounds like Queen Comics Life. It sounds like we're gonna definitely be doing multiplayer stream the next week. She likes doing those. She's a little tired right now. So we may also be doing, guys, possibly an impromptu Talkin' Shop next week. It's usually bi-weekly, but I had a couple of people that I've been reaching out to about the month of May, and three people got back to me. Carol, you got back to me, and then 2 other people got back to me. One person said they couldn't. Another person was like, I can't for one day, but I can do another day. But it happened to be on a week that I'm not doing Talkin' Shop. So we may be doing an impromptu Talking Shop next week. So there's that. Next Monday, I actually will have the pleasure of hosting Michael Oden of Elysian Fields Reborn. he will be on the channel. We'll be doing kind of like a Kickstarter closeout stream for him for his book Elysian Fields Reborn. He sent. I got a sneak preview look at it. It's really cool. It's really fun. Come on Monday. Michael will be able to answer questions and talk more about what he's going on for that. So come back on Monday, hang out for that, support Michael. Obviously, guys, go support Rippaverse. Go enjoy all the great stuff they're doing there. I am enjoying it. And then also on June 6th, so like what I'm doing with Michael, doing the same thing for the Little Mermaid crew, everybody's new favorite comic artist that's been hanging around Rip Ascend and Geeks and Gamers and all that stuff, Eric Hodson.
He's so delightful.
Oh, Eric is great. I had him on the show about a month and a half ago, and I loved talking to him.
Oh yeah, no, he's got like such a diverse art style too. Like I watched him like do stuff when we were at MegaCon, and he can like, if he wants to draw it, he can draw it. I'm like, wow, that's.
Oh yeah. And he's the primary artist on this, and then him and Piper Steed, Pixel Trader, they all worked on this together. Ariel, Little Mermaid, this is their second chance Kickstarter going on right now. So in a couple of weeks, I'll have that whole crew on hanging out. We'll be talking about their book. But yeah, and I know Rippaverse has their own YouTube channel and everything. But like, if anybody at Rippaverse has their own independent stuff they want to come and talk about, like, let me know. Well, I'll give you guys a platform. That's what I want to do. I want to help promote independent comics and independent creators, like some people have done for me. I just want to pay it forward. So, whether it's Carrow, you got stuff coming up, if Andrew or anybody else over there is doing something that's maybe kind of on their own, away from Rippaverse, or if you want to come talk about stuff you got going on that Eric will let you talk about on other streams.
The answer is no. No, like you don't understand. Like if I try and talk about something Eric doesn't want to talk about, like, you know, like he's on the other side of the city, but somehow he will kick through this door like the Kool-Aid Man and be like, NDA.
we can just call it an NDA stream. Yeah. We'll do it on Rumble Premium only. How about that?
We're gonna have to like secure Andrew in a different room or something. I don't know.
But yeah, that's just kind of what I've got going on the comics channel here, everybody. But be sure to go follow Carrow on X. Check out her website, carrowbrown.com. Go, if you haven't done so, pick up Rippazine 3. Go read Dirty Deeds and support the Rippaverse entirely.
Oh, wait, I have one question.
Oh, yes.
Riz, can you tell us if an NDA is not actually an NDA? What is the question?
Can you tell us if an NDA is actually an NDA? So I think the question is basically how much of an NDA can an NDA keep you from talking about an NDA?
Yeah, no.
Like, I think it's like one of those just kind of like how much Woodchuck questions he's getting at.
No. I mean, like, go ahead and ask if something's an NDA. Go for it. You have a couple seconds.
Andrew said, "Nah, I'm not creative or talented."
That's fucking bullshit. That is fucking bullshit. You are a fucking liar. This guy's got a sketchbook and he hides it like he doesn't draw. Yeah.
All right. Well, you hear that, Andrew? Carrow told you to get your ass on the channel, so get on over here, man, and bring that sketchbook with you. We're gonna go through it. We're gonna prove you wrong and show your talent off to the world, brother. Riskit said, "Can you tell us if Dirty Deeds is actually coming out soon?"
That is an NDA. There you go.
Ooh. We got an answer without getting an answer. Ooh. Comics Dad exclusive. Let's go. NDA, Carrow Brown.
I said it was an NDA.
I think he meant his sketchbook. But again, everybody, thank you so much. Go support Carrow, Rippaverse, everything, all the things. But remember, everybody, be good to yourselves, be good to each other. Support your local comic shops, support independent comic creators, and support small content creators. Not just like myself, but Queen Comics Wife. Oh, my goodness. I just realized I forgot to mention something. Power Keg Greg, about, I think, maybe 5 or 10 minutes ago, rated the stream on Rumble. Hail Power Keg Greg and everybody on Rumble coming over. I'm so sorry. I just acknowledged it now. I saw it out of the corner of my eye, and then I got lost in the conversation. So I'm so sorry.
People I don't know. Thanks for coming here.
Yeah, thank you, Power Keg Greg. I appreciate the raid, brother. And I promise I will get you next time the second it comes through. But yeah, like I was saying, support small content creators like myself, Queen Comics Wife, Toasty with the Mosty, who rated us earlier, Power Keg Greg, who rated us over on Rumble, a friend of the channel, Tomby, who without his help, all this nice layout that you guys are seeing wouldn't be happening right now. So go support all the small Patty Quinn says acknowledge me. You're acknowledged, Patty Quinn.
I see you, Patty. I see you.
Support small content creators as well as, like I said, the indie comics and also the local comic shops. But until next time, everybody, this is Comics Dad. I'm gonna hit you with a couple of clips on the way out, so enjoy. A little first, I'm definitely gonna hit you guys with this because this was fun.
Why are you gay?
Oh my goodness.
Who says I'm gay?
You are gay.
But thank you, everybody, so much. This is Comics Dad. On behalf of myself and Carrow Brown, we'll see you next time. Thank you guys so much.
Bye, friends.
So tune in, geek out, it's all in good fun. Talking shop with Comics Dad, everyone. Let's keep the conversation lively and bright. See you next time for more insight. Welcome to Talkin' Shop, where we never stop discussing heroes, villains, every plot twist we've got, from ink to screen and all in between. With Comics Dad and friends, it's the scene.